Hey friends, it's not a secret. I write feel good, Hallmarky type stories. But I'll make a confession. Not too long ago, I was sick of my sweet, sometimes too good to be true books. I was tired of reading them. I was tired of writing them. And I was tired of reading what my fellow authors were also writing. I wanted something I wanted something different. I wanted something grittier, maybe. I was just tired of who I was and what I wrote. So I decided to try a few of the books on the New York Times bestseller list. And I found three that sounded appealing. I started one and then stopped it because the main character killed her husband and then went into the business of helping other women kill their husbands too. Now, granted, she was in the 1700s, so maybe she felt like she didn't have a lot of recourse back then, but I still don't want to read about women killing their husbands. So I picked up a second book, and I was really enjoying it, and it was very suspenseful and very different from what I write, which is what I wanted. So very suspenseful, a real page turner. I was really enjoying it until I got to the end, and the main character killed her ex-husband because she was no longer willing to share the royalties from her books, because her next book was going to be this mega bestseller, and she didn't want him to have any part of it. So she decided to just kill him because why share, right? So I didn't like either of these books, and even though the one book I was really enjoying it, I didn't appreciate the fact that I had spent so much time with this person who has this murderous streak. And maybe we all do, but I like to think that we don't. That normal people do not resort to murder when they don't want to share. Anyway, so I picked up a third book, and it was written by an author that had written a book that I really loved years ago. And I had read her book, and I really loved one of her books. A little while ago, I had tried reading another one of her books, and I stopped reading it because the main character, a female, was not interested in a romantic or an emotionally satisfying relationship. She just wanted sex. And I just can't relate to that. I cannot relate to that on so many levels. I cannot imagine enjoying sex with someone that I didn't. I just can't even go there. Anyway, so I picked up her new book thinking that maybe it would be different, but you know what? It wasn't. It's the same thing. Her main character just wants just strictly a sexual relationship, no romance. And of course, I'm sure that by the end of the book, she changes her mind and she's emotionally invested in this person that she decides is a good person. But anyway, that's just really so not interesting to me. And all of this disappointing reminded me of a story that I had written for a contest years ago. It's a very short story because one of the rules of the contest was it had to be less than 1,000 words, which is the equivalent of about 5 pages. I didn't win the contest, but I sort of did because I love the story so much. I used my main character in my book, Whispers Over Wild Rose Road. The short story is free on Amazon. Whispers Over Wild Rose Road is not free, but that book I wrote in a serial form, and my idea was that then people only bought what they were interested in. So I think I had divided the book into 5 segments, and then people paid to read them. And that's Whispers Over Wildwood Rose, which was my COVID book. Anyway, let me read some of the reviews I got on my short story. One, Emma said, "It's only 5 pages long, but it's a complete read. I was wholly satisfied from beginning to end. Great title and cover, an emotional journey that nicely filled 15 minutes before bedtime. I may even read it again." Whitney also gave it 5 out of 5 stars and said, "Loved it. I really enjoyed the short story and getting to see Madeline come to her decision not to do the retaliation that might be deserved against her husband. The short story made me want more and to see what had happened to get to where she was. I hope the author decides to come back and write some more of the story. And then an Amazon reviewer, an anonymous reviewer wrote, Curiosity brought me to it. Sad story, very moving. Everybody loses. I won't forget it. Maybe they will meet again. I don't think it's a sad story, but I'm going to read it and then you tell me what you think, whether you think it's sad or not. So here it is. Anywhere Else by Christy Tate. With a pocket full of shrimp tails, Madeline dashed across the quiet tree-lined street where she had once lived. Skirting past the front walk, she headed for the back door. Her fingers shook as she slipped the key into the lock, and her breath escaped in a quick sigh when the knob turned. The kitchen, her kitchen, still wore the cheery floral curtains over the windows, but the withering herbs on the sill told a real story. She moved past the temptation to save the rosemary and thyme and hurried up the back stairs to the master bedroom. She paused in the doorway, her breath caught at the sight of a purple bra lounging on the rumpled sheets of the unmade bed, the bed she had once shared with Calvin. They had found the headboard at an antique mall in Maine. After wrapping it up in a sleeping bag, they tied it on top of their Jeep and drove it home to Connecticut. Despite the rain and passing years, it still looked beautiful. It hurt to leave it behind. Madeline fingered the baggie of shrimp tails. She needed to stay focused. Gravel crunched as a car turned into the drive. Outside, doors slammed. Madeline cast a wild glance around the room, searching for a hiding place. Beneath the bed? In the shower? She dashed into the closet and pulled the doors closed. Slits of light from the louvered doors penetrated the darkness, revealing the stark emptiness of what had once been her side. Last week, she could have easily hidden behind coats and dresses, but now, with only suit jackets and Oxford cotton shirts to offer protection, she hunkered in a dark corner and prayed that Calvin wouldn't need a change of clothes. The kitchen door creaked open. Pressing against the wall, Madeline wished to disappear, that heaven or hell, she didn't care which, would open a portal and suck her into another realm, a place of peace, void of tears, threats, and broken promises. Footsteps climbed the stairs. Madeline sucked in a deep breath as she recognized the voices. But I don't want to bring a dessert, Carly whined. I don't even eat desserts. You know that. Yeah, but my mom doesn't. Calvin sounded tired. Madeline thought of the bed and the bra. What if they... Oh, please, no. She shimmied behind the shirts and suits, inhaling Calvin's familiar scent. I want to bring my signature salad. Carly's voice turned from wheedling to annoying. I know your mom will love it. My mom doesn't love salads. She loves bowling and bulldogs in that order. Keys jangled as someone, probably Calvin, dropped them onto the dresser. In her mind, Madeline could see him emptying out his pockets, a ritual he had practiced every day of their 22-year marriage. But it wasn't the end of the day. It was 2:00 in the afternoon. What was he doing here? She thought again of the bed. Oh, please, no. She fingered the baggie of shrimp tails in her pocket. It felt cold and slightly wet. Maybe if Calvin and Carly got preoccupied, she could slip out unnoticed. Not likely. And what about the shrimp? She had planned to leave them in the drapery rods. Calvin would never look there. Since she had hung the curtains herself, he probably didn't even know how the rods could be disassembled. But now, here she was, skulking in the closet, yards away from the rods. I can't serve up bulldogs or bowling balls, Carly said. My mom won't care what you bring, Calvin added. Then I should bring my signature salad. In a beat of silence, Madeline imagined Calvin rolling his eyes as he said, We'll pick up a pie at the bakery. A store-bought pie? From a bakery, Calvin announced all three symbols, a sure sign of annoyance. Madeline shifted her feet, and paper crackled beneath her shoe. She caught her breath, expecting exposure. Closet doors flung open, daylight illuminating the dark corners, shrimp popping from her pockets. But the argument continued as if she didn't exist. I am not going to meet your family carrying a pie from the Stop and Shop. Carly took a deep breath, especially since I don't even eat sweets. Madeline focused on the paper beneath her shoe, a drawing of a horse. Her knees buckled as she recognized the childish scrawl, "For Daddy." Her knees gave way and Madeline silently sunk to the floor. Sitting crisscross applesauce, Madeline picked up her daughter's drawing. In the soupy half-light, her vision blurred with tears as she remembered Lily showering Calvin with her art. He had to have received thousands. How many had he kept? Lily had been gone for more than 10 years, and the carpet had been shampooed and vacuumed dozens of times since her death. In fact, Madeline didn't remember seeing the drawing when she cleaned out her things. Which meant what? She smoothed out the drawing, trying to press out the wrinkles caused by her own shoe. A tear fell, smudging the penciled lines. She shook the paper, and the voices on the other side of the door hushed. Madeline froze. Someone scooped up the keys. They jangled for a moment before sliding into a pocket. A door creaked. Footsteps padded down the hot stairs. Madeline stayed in the closet until the back door slammed closed. The car engine roared, and the gravel in the drive crunched. Holding the drawing as if it was fragile and capable of shattering, she slipped from the closet. Silently, she crept down the stairs. In the kitchen, she paused to water the dying herbs before passing through the back door. She double-checked the lock and said a silent goodbye to the cheery drapery she had made. Somewhere on her way to anywhere else, she found a dumpster for the shrimp tails. I love love. I love stories about love. And I think that love comes in all sorts of sizes and shapes, and it can change and it can morph. And sometimes people who love each other don't belong together anymore. And sometimes we lose people that we love. Sometimes we lose people that we love, even though they're still here. They're just not really the same anymore. Anyway, I hope this story brings you hope. I hope that when you find yourself facing a relationship that needs to end, that you can do so without resorting to murder or even to shrimp tails.